Before dawn, the radio room breathes in a low electrical hum. Vacuum tubes glow amber against metal panels, warming the air until sweat gathers beneath your headphones. Outside, the Pacific lies flat and indifferent, a sheet of dark glass stretching beyond Midway's narrow strip of sand. You are 20 years old, hunched over dials and switches, pretending the static in your ears is just weather rolling across open water. You log routine traffic in careful block letters, signal checks, call signs, time stamps. A tin cup of coffee cools beside your elbow. Months have passed since Pearl Harbor, yet this island still feels like an outpost, not a target. You tell yourself your job is small. Somewhere beyond the horizon, an entire fleet moves toward you through the night. The hum in your ears sometimes carries you back to Kansas, to wind moving through wheat instead of static through wires. Your father stands behind the counter of his hardware store, sleeves rolled, measuring out nails by weight. Your mother presses shirts in the kitchen, radio murmuring big band music between weather reports. The sky there is wide and uncomplicated. You enlisted the week after Pearl Harbor, not for glory, but because staying felt smaller than leaving. Anger mixed with obligation until it felt like duty. The recruiter promised technical training, steady pay, something useful. Radios seemed clean, precise, controlled. Systems made sense. If you learned them well enough, nothing would surprise you. Boot camp strips you down to routine and repetition. Orders barked across hot asphalt. Boots striking pavement in unison. You learn to move when told and stop without hesitation. Afterward comes communication school, quieter but no less demanding. Morse code fills your days until it follows you into sleep, dots and dashes tapping against the inside of your skull. You are trained to copy without thinking, to let your pencil move faster than doubt, accuracy over emotion, precision over curiosity. In hushed classrooms, instructors mention traffic analysis and codes spoken of only in guarded phrases. There are rumors that certain messages are already understood before they are sent. You begin to see it clearly. War is not only ships and guns. It is signals. Weeks earlier, you heard the quiet experiment unfold. Midway transmitted an uncoded report about a failing water distillation plant. Soon after, intercepted Japanese traffic mentioned that AF was short on fresh water. The officers did not celebrate, but their stillness confirmed it. AF was Midway. The island beneath your boots had a new name in enemy plans. Now you are on shift when the air thickens with increased traffic. Call signs repeat with sharper rhythm. Carrier divisions coordinate fuel, rendezvous points, launch times. You copy coordinates you barely recognize, marking them in precise columns. You may not see the map, but you recognize acceleration. Patterns tightening. The room grows quieter as intelligence officers stand behind you. No one interrupts your pencil. Static no longer feels harmless. It carries intent. Within days, perhaps hours, those distant signals will become aircraft over your head. Just after sunrise, radar reports incoming contacts from the northwest. The message moves through the command center and into your headset, clipped and unmistakable. Frequencies crowd. At once, trollers issue headings. Pilots answer with strained confidence. You relay confirmations, adjust channels, keep your voice level as anti-aircraft crews ready their guns outside. Engines growl overhead as Marine fighters claw into the sky. Some of the voices you hear are unsteady, others forced into jokes that fall flat. Many of those men are your age, some younger, their breath audible between transmissions. Then the first bombs fall. The island shudders. Dust drifts from the ceiling onto your log sheets. Somewhere nearby, something burns. You tighten the headset against your ears and keep writing. Outside is fire and smoke. Inside is procedure. By mid-morning, Japanese carrier traffic fractures into urgency. You intercept launch reports, deck status updates, clipped requests for confirmation. Later come sharper signals, damage assessments, shouted coordinates, confusion bleeding through disciplined phrasing. You copy each fragment and pass it upward, without commentary. The chain above you turns fragments into decisions. Hours later, American dive bombers check in as they approach their targets. Their radios crackle with altitude calls and course corrections. You hear breathing, the rattle of engines pushed hard. You understand enough to know they are flying toward concentrated fire, toward ships that still have teeth. The connection settles heavily in your chest. The information you relayed narrowed the search. It shaped the strike. You are not pulling a trigger, but you are part of the trigger. Reports arrive in staggered bursts. Akagi hit, Kaga burning, Soryu aflame from bow to stern. Hours later, confirmation follows that Hiryu is finished as well. The names pass through your headset like distant thunder, each one marking thousands of men stranded on steel and fire. Outside the radio room, cheers rise across the atoll. Officers clasp hands. Someone grips your shoulder and calls it a turning point. For a moment, the island feels lighter. You lift your headphones off slowly, letting the static fade. You enlisted to defend your country. Now you understand you are helping decide who lives and who never comes home. The war is no longer abstract. Night settles over Midway with a stillness that feels earned. The radio room no longer vibrates with overlapping frequencies. Enemy transmissions thin to scattered fragments. American channels are quieter too. Roll calls shorter than they were at dawn. You sit with your pencil resting idle, listening to gaps where voices should be. You remember the pilot who joked about breakfast before takeoff, the one who asked for a heading twice because of engine noise. Some of them never checked back in. Their last words remain preserved in your logbook. Official confirmation arrives. 4 Japanese carriers sunk. The tide has shifted. Inside you, something has hardened. Information is no longer neutral. It carries ghosts. Beyond the island's narrow strip of coral, the Pacific holds the wreckage. Thousands of sailors drift among oil-slicked waves. Carriers that once carried entire air groups burn down to their frames before slipping beneath miles of dark water. Smoke columns fade into open sky, as if nothing permanent has occurred. You begin to grasp the scale. Intelligence reports aligned with patrol sightings. Timing intersected with chance. Squadrons arrived in minutes that altered decades. What passed through your headset traveled into strategy rooms, into cockpits, into bombs released from altitude. Your role feels small measured against the horizon, yet it was necessary. Modern war is systems layered upon systems. Inside that machinery, individual morality does not disappear. It endures, pressed between decisions made faster than conscience can fully answer. The wind moves steadily across the atoll, carrying the smell of salt and spent fuel. Waves break against the reef in patient intervals, indifferent to wreckage scattered beyond sight. The sky clears, as if the day has already been filed away. You set the headphones on the metal desk. The static recedes into memory, replaced by ordinary silence. Yet certain tones remain, faint and persistent, like signals that never fully sign off. You understand something now that you did not before. War is not only fought by those who fire weapons. Sometimes it is fought by those who listen and decide which voices will be answered.